Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc. Hi everyone, and welcome back to today's episode. I am in the town of Florence, Colorado, where I have been basically non-stop shopping, looking through antique shops. The journey is going to continue. We're going to stop in a couple more stores here and see what they have to see. It's a Monday. Some things aren't open, but most things are. But I am going to go into this shop here, which is the Oil City Merchants, and we'll see what they've got. Let's go. I recall coming through this store before, and it's quite expansive. It's like an old department store, I think. So it's a bigger shop on the street, but they had neat stuff like this old gas pump. It doesn't have the globe on it, but it's meant to have a globe. See the top? You can get replica globes. That would be an amazing piece. That's like an Art Deco style fuel pump. Obviously it had diesel in it out of it at one point, but really, really interesting piece. So kind of getting a sense they're gonna have some cool stuff. Oh, look. That is a pink gooseberry Pyrex pattern from about 1956 or 7. 175 for the 3-bowl set. What a pretty set. And actually quite difficult to come by. That's one of the more desirable Pyrex sets. Very, very cool. So let's continue walking through. They've got railroad signs and mason jars and blacksmithing stuff. I see more Pyrex over there. There's the old fridge containers for the primary color sets. Figure if you want to have root beer out of the container, you could just get that thing and leave it on your kitchen counter. Giant root beer dispenser, or a bomb, because why not? I don't think that they'd let me through the airport with some of this stuff. How do you explain that in your carry-on? But there's a big old trunk. A.J. Thompson from Fullerton, Nebraska, all leather trunk. Probably was brought here on stagecoach. And now here it sits. Somebody's life possessions were in there where they started their life, started their family. And that's what I love about antiques. It's a history, the stories, the things you can imagine that took place or happened. Geez, I've never seen Cyprill beverage, nectar beverage. Never seen that before. That's cool. Colorado State Prison guard outfit. You get into some mischief with that. Oh, there's a great beer sign. Demand La Fiesta beer. Not for sale. I guess I understand. It's pretty neat. Got a bunch of old gas tanks off of motorcycles. It's really nice, wide variety of stuff. Hey! License plates are always really collectible, and the older the better. When you start getting into the early teens and early 1900s plates, they're a lot of times either painted, real old ones can be leather, but the most collectible are generally these porcelain enamel plates. And I've not seen these Pennsylvania plates for 1912. Now they've got 6 plates for $1,200. It's actually not a bad price, because in the right market, I'm sure in Pennsylvania those go for a lot more. But I've never seen that wood grain sort of pattern that they did on that. It's kind of classy. Would have classed your car up, I think, if you had a wood grain looking license plate. That's super cool. I love seeing stuff I've never seen before, and that's definitely one of them. They got this great old wooden showcase here. We've got some handy oil cans in there, and some razors and some nice old padlocks. Nice Japanese friction cars. So you got spurs. Really just a little bit of everything. Oh, I've had one of these and I did the same thing to it. That's you can probably tell what that is or was. It was a hair dryer from a salon, or likely this was a salon because it's got the industrial base. I bought one of these at auction once and I did the same thing. I hollowed out the insides. I put a light in, as they've done. I had an Edison style bulb in, and somebody sold it or bought it from me, and it actually went for a pretty good dollar. I had mine all shined up and everything. It was just a really cool piece. Interesting that somebody's done the same thing. I guess you wouldn't really trust putting your head in that nowadays as a hairdryer, so I get it. Yeah, ceiling panels, probably from old buildings around here. Some very 1950s looking light fixtures that must have been out of a restaurant or something, but that's super mid-century modern. And somebody's bought it, but oh, too bad. What a cool piece that would have been for them hanging, and then you have the lights all around the edge. That's an amazing atomic age sort of piece. Oh, and here's a whole bunch of, these look like campaign badges, yeah. Vote for Ike, I like Ike. Stevenson Sparkman, Students for Kennedy, Roosevelt Truman. There's like the history of campaign pins. Some of them look like they go back quite a few years. That's pretty neat. 38 of them for 130 bucks. So if you're watching this video and you're interested, you can phone and see if they still have it. They might. And better yet, if you're in this area, you should come out and chat with them and come and see what they have in person, because it's a really cool store. I'm gonna walk along the back here and see. They have some bigger items, old stoves, Pepsi coolers. You can tell this one looks a little bit, I like the graphics on it with the Pepsi bottle cap logo on it. It's just so fun. And my brother Steve actually collects things with the Pepsi bottle cap on it. In fact, when I first met my brother, that's a whole other story. But when I first met him, I ended up going to his house, and he had all these cool antiques, and ended up getting a Pepsi bottle cap sign, which is now proudly in my garage on display. And every time I look at it, I think of my brother Steve. More license plates, lots of books, these great, fantastic signs. That looks like it was out of maybe I'm from Canada, so my mind goes to hockey arena, but that's from a baseball park. American, National, you got Cincinnati Reds, Oakland, so they're keeping track of the scores. Home runs, of course, that's baseball. I didn't see that. For those of you that'll probably point out the obvious, I see it says home runs on it now, so I can see what it is. A little dog racing poster, that's kind of cool. Friendly Mile High Kennel Club, Colorado, 25 cents parking and admission. That'd be kind of a fun afternoon. Go to the horse races. There's an old Riveter, like Rosie the Riveter would have used. Hers was a bit bigger than that, I think, though. I'm just having fun strolling around and see what he has. But of course, I am on the hunt today for vintage watches or Hot Wheels, and I don't see any just yet, but I'm going to keep looking, because you never know when there's one around the corner. Well, here's a nice Edison Ambarola player. It looks like the lever's not on it for the stop-start, but they would often have, like, that's where your needle would go. So it might need a little bit of TLC. Heck, between this one and the one I saw at the flea market the other day, you could have built one real good one. Neat piece, though. Nice piece of early music history. Got a whole box full of old pocket knives here. Those are always fun. And that's your Boy Scouts kind of everything knife. You got your spoon, your fork, your knives, the whole deal there. Neat stuff. Here's a really cool piece. This is like a 1950s era American Flyer train set, and it's got all the original boxes with it too. His price is quite fair. He's around $150 or so is the asking price on that set with the engines in the bottom there. Fortunately, my bags won't allow me to bring that much stuff on. Gosh, but if I had to pick anything in the store that I would take home, I think it would have to be that gas pump, because that is just a stunning piece of Art Deco styling. You put the glow back on that, even with the patina, that green paint being as it is, it's just absolutely perfect. What is the price of the pump, by the way?
$3 grand.
$3 grand, yeah, that's about right. That'd be a whole lot more if you fully restored it, that's for sure. But that's like a museum quality piece. Much nicer than your average sort of pump you would have seen. That's definitely your upgraded model there. What a beaut. Well, I spent the last few minutes chatting with the fellow that owns Oil City Merchants. Really cool guy. So I recommend checking out his store. We're gonna pop in and see a couple others before I head out of town here. I see there's Good Stuff Antiques across the street, so that's probably be our next bet right over there. Yeah, unfortunately that one shop was closed, so I've decided to come in this store, which is called the Mezzanine. And probably for obvious reasons it's called the Mezzanine, because they have a mezzanine up there. Lots of artwork on the walls when you come in. The one thing that's nice about these buildings in Florence is that a lot of them are historic sites, so you feel like the antiques are right at home, sort of in the setting they would have been way back when. Oh, I see a few watches down in there. So you'd be quite happy to find a couple good watch boxes too. So we're gonna do a little cruise about, a little walk around, and we'll see what there is to see. Always thought those were super cool. That is a music disc player. It has like a perforated disc that goes inside of it, and as it spins it plays music, kind of like a music box almost. It's a predecessor of a gramophone. They used to have upright versions as well from music halls or bars. Not a common thing to find. That one's in exceptionally good shape, but I've always liked them, always thought they were cool. They are pricey though, at $3,700. It's not an inexpensive item, but it's really neat. And sometimes really neat things are fun to have around. Wind it up and show your friends how they used to listen to music way back when. Got some estate jewelry and a wooden biscuit truck, or wagon, I should say. These little, that F-16 air combat fighter from General Dynamics, that's something they would have actually given a pilot. That's not for common purchase. That would have been a sort of a specialty. I wouldn't say salesman sample, but similar to it. That's kind of a neat piece. I had some of those from the 1950s from Major Jerry Burry, from his estate, from his collection. I got to know those a bit. Looks like an old AC spark plug cleaner. You've got a sample spark plug in here, put your plug in there, and it kind of blasts it a little bit, cleans the ends all off, and tells you what kind of shape your spark plug's in. If it was working, and who knows, it might, that'd be a handy thing to have in your shop, you know, if you're checking your plugs. But frankly, it's pretty cheap to just replace your plugs, you know, rather than go through all that. But so kind of cool. Like these old radios, Bakelite radios. And always keeping my eyes open for a Catalan radio. But those are a little trickier to come by, which is why when I come by them, I typically keep them. We've got this old handmade wooden toolbox. Those are cool. Probably super heavy to carry that around to the job site. Monogram boxes and trunks. These great old warehouse doors. I know that it's part of the building, but I still think it's neat. We're gonna walk through to the other side and see what's around the corner, and also check out the famous mezzanine of the mezzanine and see what they have up there. On this side, we've got a nice little collection of old toys and collectibles. You know, there have been occasions, like I just bought, it's still in my hand, a Mickey Mouse wind-up toy from a store down the street. I've had times where I've actually bought something at one store, walked down the street and sold it for a profit, which sounds stupid, but you know, that's the business I'm in. This little Buddy Lee Phillips 66 doll is cool. If you're into gas station memorabilia, that's a neat piece. Okay, I stopped to have a look at this because what this is a motion lamp, and an older one at that. They were very popular in the 50s. Basically, there's a rotating piece inside that makes it look like it's flickering lights. So that's got sort of a cabin scene. One of the rare ones you find is actually the water skiing scene from the 1950s. That being a 1930s piece, they have it priced at $110. Probably about what it's worth, but a neat item, and you don't see them too often. Speaking of old radios, this was always a neat piece. I've had a couple of these before too. It's a Zenith Bakelite cabinet, record player and radio in one, but it's very kind of just slightly post Art Deco with these great lines. It almost looks like the dashboard of a car. You know, some of the designs and the industrial designers that did this stuff are just so cool, the work that they did. And you can see the different controls on there, 16, 33, 78. Just a really neat looking piece. And there's your Hallicrafters CB radio set there. Oddly, there's kitchen equipment. Well, that was an absolutely fun trip, a great shop. The one thing that, looking back, I now kind of regret not buying is the Pyrex bowl set. He had it priced at, around $140 or so. Probably would have gone down to around $100 online, in Canadian funds anyway. They're between $600 and $700. So I was worried about shipping it home and it getting broken, but man, there are some deals out there. It's worth looking. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to tune in for more, subscribe. And as for me, I'm off to look for more treasures. Have a wonderful day, guys. We'll see y'all soon. And as always, bye for now. Bye, everybody.